Thank you. Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's nice to see so many familiar faces here in the audience. My name is Agam Patel, President of Staff Assembly. And on behalf of Staff Assembly, I'd like to welcome all of you to our fall general meeting. We're joined by folks here in person, as well as colleagues and friends that are joining us virtually. And I want to welcome all of you wherever you are. We'd like to begin this meeting with UCR's land acknowledgement provided to us by Curtis Washington, a recent retiree of UCR's Mail Services Department and a professional voice actor, if you all didn't know that. And we'd like to thank Curtis for this. Curtis has been a friend of Staff Assembly for many years, and we owe him a debt of gratitude.
We at UCR like to respectfully acknowledge and recognize our responsibility to the original and current caretakers of this land, water, and air, the Cahuilla, Tongva, Luceño, and Serrano peoples, and all of their ancestors and descendants, past, present, and future. Today, this meeting place is home to many indigenous peoples from all over the world, including UCR faculty, students, and staff. And we are grateful to have the opportunity to live and work on these homelands.
Thank you, Curtis. A few important reminders before we begin. This meeting is being professionally live streamed by UCR's Multimedia Services team, which includes Cedric and Sergio Gonzalez, as well as our very own Brittany Frazier and Melanie Romero. Towards the end of this meeting, we will have some raffle prizes as well as lunch outside, so we hope you can stick around for the full hour and be with us. But before we begin, I'd like to take a moment and acknowledge all of you working each day to help further this university's mission. Thank you for your various talents, insights, and passions that you bring each day to help advance our momentum. Staff Assembly has been doing this work and has a rich history of advocacy on this campus. As I took on this role in July, I have to tell you that this has been a very humbling experience, not just as serving as your president, but getting up each day and getting a chance to fight for you, to fight for the resources we need, to fight for our seat at the table. Even though we've been here for, it seems like a long time, our journey in many ways is just beginning. And so as Staff Assembly expands its reach, I welcome and encourage each of you to connect and engage with us. I'd like to give a special note of gratitude and recognition to our amazing Staff Assembly Executive Board, who work tirelessly each day to help improve the lives and experiences of all of our staff, and without which none of what we do would be possible. So please join me in giving them a big round of applause. All right, it should be a full hour, so let's get started. Our featured speaker today is Daryle Williams, who serves as UC Riverside's Dean of the College of Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences. Williams earned an undergraduate degree in history and a certificate in Latin American Studies from Princeton University and a master's and PhD in history from Stanford. He has been awarded grants and fellowships from the National Endowment for the Humanities, Fulbright, the Ford and Rockefeller Foundations, and the Maryland Institute for Technology in the Humanities. But that's just his official bio, folks. What you also need to know is Daryle is a strong supporter of Staff Assembly and one of the very few deans that I know who goes out of his way to check in with us regularly on matters that affect all of us. Daryle is generous with his time, a deep listener, and always goes out of his way to include the voices around him. So please join me in welcoming Daryle.
Thank you, Gom. Thank you for the invitation from Staff Assembly and for the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about my journey so far here at UCR. I arrived in September of last year, which was a challenging time for us all, but it was, of course, a challenging time for me personally. I moved myself and my family across the country to return. I'm from Southern California, to return home in some ways, but also to come here at a really challenging, interesting, generative moment here. And I think particularly for staff, when I arrived here in the the end of summer in 2021, we were just reopening campus. Of course, some of you were here all along, and I saw a couple of folks right now from facilities who I met over the summer who had never gone away during the pandemic. But for many of us, it was a time of reopening of campus in terms of in-person operations or on-campus operations. And it was a period of a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety on health and safety and operational issues and about our direction as well. So that was some of the sort of circumstances that I arrived here. I do recall when I was a candidate that members of the staff were really articulate and vocal in articulating some of the needs, wants for staff members in my college to participate in decision-making, about a range of things, especially early on about questions about remote work and telework, but also about the direction of the college and the direction of our university, our mutual contributions to student success, but particularly for staff, about proper staffing so that the staff members had the capacity to do that work to support student success. So what I'd like to do is just talk a little bit about what some reflections that I can offer over the from my period here for about 13 months or so, 14 months, and we can go to the next slide, please, to welcome any questions that you may have. I know we have a tight time frame, and there's obviously a celebration and food as well. So remote work, or what I like to say is really what we kind of began the conversation about the future, return to campus, and then began the future work, and now I just call it work. And my college, College of Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences, the largest college in terms of undergraduate majors, 21 departments or so, multiple research programs. I don't know if we're the largest in terms of staff. I actually don't know that, but we do have 160 staff members in CHAS. So this is a big question for a big college. And I came, bluntly, thinking that remote work was a temporary, imposed upon, more than an inconvenience, a disruptor, that we would return to the university operations that I knew throughout my entire career as a student, and then as a faculty member and as a leader, which was fundamentally we're a residential in-person university, and residential in-person things require residential, not residential, but these in-person operations. So I came with that expectation. In reality, that didn't turn out to be my expectations were not met by the realities, but also by actually the changing nature of who we are in relationship to what we want to do, and particularly for some of the questions that the staff members really brought in a very passionate way about their whole lives, but also the quality of their work. So it's about the quality of their work, but again, also about them as whole people. So this led to a series of conversations, sometimes some conversations more, shall we say, fulfilling than others for me, because much of this was done in a Zoom setting, which I think was very difficult to connect. But nonetheless, we began to explore what the nature of work would look like for this college, which is an academic college, but it also has people who also do things outside of things that are directly related to student-facing activities. And came up with a series of experimentations, both at the local level and also the college, that ultimately landed where we are now in our college, announced at the beginning of this year, which is no longer a future of work, but it's a strategic workplace plan in which the expectation is that we maintain our core functions of addressing every student where they are in the multiple places that they are and their needs, through making sure that all of our operations are open to the public in person and remote when the university is open, but also allowing for a lot of flexibility at the local level for units to determine the best way to allocate resources and time and space as well. We're looking at space, and that built around an idea that each person will be on campus for 2 days during a work week. minimum 2 days, I should say. So for some folks, it's more than that because of the nature of their works, because of the choices that they would like to bring, where they feel most fulfilled or most productive, but a minimum of 2. And so this is an arrangement we have in the college. It's not necessarily the arrangement that is scalable to the entire university or the other academic colleges. Each of the deans and making their own decisions there, and many of us I recognize are also in operations, which doesn't make that possible. But I will say also, this is part of a kind of a different way that I'm, as a dean of the college, imagining what it is that we do. What are our core reasons to be here? Of course, I see our core reason here is to advance educational attainment, or educational opportunity, and advance world-class research in inland Southern California, and all of us are here for that. But of course, staff members execute that and they advance that in their own particular ways. And so that means for some to be on campus quite a lot, and for others, maybe less, but realizing that their physical presence does not really determine how they contribute to educational attainment and world-class research. So that kind of leads into some things I was looking at. What does professional development look like for our staff? And so I'm still learning. I'm struck that we, in our college, my college, need to provide more investments in professional development for staff, more development opportunities, trainings and peer mentoring networks and social and recognition. But also we need to think about more in a more extended way what career pathing is going to look like here. We have, just in our student academic advising group, for instance, we have a lot of bunching in one job category. And so the question that leads to difficulties for people to advance in the college because they're in one job category, one level, they can't really advance, but also it makes us more difficult, it makes some challenges for us, in particular this moment of recruitment, to think about pipelines and pathways. So looking at professional development is a big opportunity, but a challenge in particular for the college, for our college there. That then leads to some of the questions which we're dealing with right now in our strategic planning process in CHAZ about how it is that we invest in people, careers, and of course, educational programs and research. So those investments in people and careers does include investments, I see it, investment in professional development opportunities for CHAZ, and also for staffing at an appropriate level, but also staffing at a tiered level for that. And that then leads to this question that I'm very interested in, of looking at representation and decision making. I came here from the University of Maryland, which has what's called a University Senate. So it's a little bit different here than the academic senate here at UCR. University Senate at University of Maryland includes faculty members, but also includes staff representation as well. And so I already came from an institution in which staff members played a constitutive role in university decision making. And then that mirrored and mapped onto what was taking place in the colleges. I was in a College of Arts and Humanities, and that had a staff assembly. Members of that staff of the college organized themselves on their own. There was a president and various officers, and they had programming. And then that staff assembly had representation on the college, was called the Collegiate Council, which was the college's representative. So I came here with some familiarity and some expectations of staff participation and decision making. That's a little bit different than what I've actually experienced here at UCR with an academic senate, which is very strong and very meaningful and powerful, but one which is restricted to faculty members, and not seeing some spaces, though I recognize the staff assembly does some of the work, but especially in decision-making in the college. So I'm looking for establishing some mechanisms, at my discretion as dean, mechanisms in our college so that we have staff participation and resource allocation in particular. And that resource allocation will then go toward, what are the strategic hires that we make, where incentives and investment funds we are going to be making, and where more broadly we think about the college's direction strategically, and who is at the table in making those kinds of decisions and being in the conversation as well. So that's there. Touching just briefly, retention, career paths. I've touched on career paths. Retention is a real concern. Our college, like this university, like many campuses in the UC, faces retention challenges. I think, and Erica can help me, we have 14, 22 now. Oh, we have 22 vacancies right now. This is, one of the things which I think is dramatic that I kind of confront here is we are understaffed. We're under-resourced historically and also more recent way. But even with the positions that we have to go, we cannot fill them all because of competition, because of compensation, which is not appropriate. So to a certain degree also, I would say about remote work options. So as I've shared with you, I've come to a decision about where I land on that in terms of remote work options. And if that doesn't work for a potential candidate, then they would probably be more satisfied in another employer. But that's only one piece to this. So we have a real struggle right now to fill the positions that we have funded. And then also to be thinking about where we're going to be growing for that way. But those folks who are here, it means that the burden on those folks who are here increases because the workload remains the same, or if it doesn't increase, as the campus grows. And I've got ambitions, we've got ambitions. Ambitions take work, they take staffing, they take decision-making investments. So this is a real concern. And I welcome your thoughts for our college, but also with maybe some shared practices that many of you are thinking about in your own particular units. And then the last piece here to share, and then we can open this up if you have any quick questions for me about principles of community. And I think that some of the principles of community, for me, reflect in this piece here about representation and who's at the table. Who would we decide to be, sitting at the table to have the conversation about whatever that is? And that's really the definition of what the community is. I do think we are a community ultimately here for students. And that is one of my major principles of community there. And I want all of us to understand that we're here for educational opportunity and world-class research. And I define that fundamentally for the educational opportunities of our undergraduates, the vast majority of them being Californians, as we know, Pell Grant eligible, first generation, fantastic students that we have. And I think that we all should be mindful. That's why we're here. And that's our community ultimately. And I like to see those people with whom I work and whom I can advocate and support sharing those values. But also, of course, we're thinking about once we're here, we kind of begin with that premise, and what is a community of not just in terms of collective work, but also of respect and place and connection to our institution. So these are some things for me as a newcomer here at UCR that I've been working with. We are, again, a large college, but not the entire university. And even for those of you who are in other academic colleges, I can imagine that you'd have your own particular questions and concerns and pathways that these things are important to you. Encourage you to work with your peers, encourage you to work with your supervisors, ultimately with the dean of the college, or if it's a chancellor or a vice chancellor, depending on what your reporting lines look like, to make sure that your voices are heard, your experiences are understood, and that you also can articulate to them why you're here and your relationships to some of our core values as well. So that being said, I will be available for some questions. Yes, I don't know how long. We have 4 minutes? Okay. And then I'm going to be here as well to celebrate those of you who have reached milestone achievements here in the UC. So, questions? I don't know your name, so.
What is it that changed? What was truly different? What was that moment that made you go, wait, my old opinion was not correct, I'm going in a new direction?
Sure, it was not, wasn't one moment. It was an evolution. And, I have to say that this is not something I expected. It's not something I wanted. Okay, I do want it now, but it's not, if you asked me certainly a year ago, no. No, I would be a little bit, I'm sure those of you who worked with me knew I felt that way. I didn't actually say that, but knew I felt that way, but I feel differently now. First of all, because I recognize that I could continue to hear, this is what staff members of my college need and want. They need it and want it because that's where they're being most successful in their jobs, but also that's where they need it and want it because they want to feel most successful in their lives. So those are two things that are pretty important to me, their jobs and their lives. but also, kind of like just being broken or, breaking my mindset, like the experience that I had as a student and then as an employee is based on a certain kind of historical conditions and formations, which are not now. I mean, COVID is different. It made things different itself, but also out of that, of course, I started my work life before there was the internet. So because it's really different. And so these are some of the elements. But I do want to go back to the fact that strong advocacy, sometimes hot advocacy, toward making the case about the work and the person. And so I kind of have evolved on that. And then again, for my college, I landed on something I'm comfortable with. I recognize that it does not work for every college and it does not work for every person in my college, but we're going to make it work. Maybe cultures that maybe we can just stress here. I think today I was doing some adjustments to our strategic plan matrix. And one of the things which I came back to is trying to figure out where within our strategic plan for the college, we were talking about cultures of rewards and recognition. And so I wrote, that's a shell there. So kind of building out what that looks like here. We talked earlier today that I think Chaz has, we have like 1,200 students who are on the dean's list. That's like fantastic. And so this is kind of today in the moment I think we're transitioning over to is another thing which I think is very important for rewards and recognitions. Those people who have been here and contributing to our university for 5, 10, 15 more years. And for me to be here for that is meaningful and rewarding, but it's also part of what I think is a strategic necessity for the College of Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences, but also for our university. So thank you for this opportunity also to stick around.
All right, get this thing situated. Thank you so much, Daryl, for speaking to our group. I want to give everyone one last moment. Any last questions? This is an opportunity to ask one of our amazing deans any questions you may have about anything. He's on stage. Last chance. Yes.
Thank you so much for being a part of UCR. Happy that you're here. Can you talk a little bit about diversity on our campus, both with our students, but also faculty?
Sure. So one of the remarkable things about UCR is the whole conversation about diversity is so upended by the fact that we have 85% of our students identify as something other than exclusively white. In some ways, peculiarly, it's the white identified students who are the diverse. So what does that mean though? 42% of our students identify as Latinx, 22% or something along those lines as Asian American. It's much smaller numbers, insufficiently small numbers for Black and African American. But nonetheless, we don't even do a lot of intentional recruitment and we have this tremendously diverse undergraduate student population. So I think one of it is and this is the leading edge of higher education right now because there are other institutions, R1 institutions that are going to become looking like UCR. We're already there. What do we do with that at the undergraduate level? So it's not about getting them in the door because all we need to do is open up the doors and they show up. But it's about really making that educational experience rich for them and then how the disciplines and the education itself is transformed by the students that we have who are already here. So that I feel kind of comfortable about and that we really have somewhat of leadership. On the faculty side, staff as well, there we have gaps. We see structural gaps, the structural and historical gaps in access, diversity, inclusion across disciplines, across leadership, across higher education. And we need to be more intentional investment in that. In our particular case in the college, I'm putting a lot of emphasis on the University of California's President's Postdoctoral and Chancellor's fellowship program, which has been around since the 1980s, and it is intended and a lot of investment from our state in increasing representation of the underrepresented across various ways in the faculty. It includes at the graduate level as well. I think that we see some comparable types of opportunities as well for other kinds of programs. For staff, I'm not as comfortable saying I can think of any particular programs that have a long, deep record of success, the way the President's Postdoctoral Program does. But we do have something in our state, in our university, that shows us some of the ways that we can do that. I'd like to see more of that, and I'm trying to find some ways to embed that into the college. And one of the things which actually I think is interesting about this is, and we can go back to our undergraduates, once you kind of look at the demographics as they are here, it really changes the nature of diversity, the whole conversation of diversity. It upends it, it disrupts, and you can then talk about, well, what does excellence or accomplishment look like when they're there? That's the diversity is just there, and you're forming the pipeline without both with trying, but also not necessarily as intentionally trying or feeling that there's some gaps here. So this is where I think that UCR is really uniquely positioned among very few other minority serving R1 institutions in the United States. I was just talking about this. I was in Washington yesterday, and I was with a couple higher education journalists. I was just talking about this yesterday, so I feel very passionate about it. UCR at the lead.
All right, thank you again, Daryle. It looks like that was our last question. So if you could join me in thanking Daryle for this wonderful speech, appreciate you. You get a break. You get a break, yes. Oh. Here you go. All right. So hello, everyone. It is so nice to see all of you here in person. I see folks from facilities, from dining, from the colleges, the orgs. Thank you guys for coming. I know how busy all of you are, how much work everyone has on their plate. So we really appreciate the time that you take just to show up and be here with us. So thank you. I do want to introduce myself. I know some familiar faces in the crowd, some I do not. I'm Erica Leone. I'm the Vice President of Staff Assembly, and it's an honor to be here to represent you guys, to be part of Staff Assembly. So here we go. So one of the things we wanted to talk about was what we've been doing as far as staff advocacy. It's just, as Agam talked about, it's really important for us to get our voices out in front of leadership, to campus leadership, to let them know, what staff are dealing with, what kind of issues that we have, what's at the forefront. And there's so many things we could talk about, but seeing the room here and just seeing how many employees we have that truly care about this campus, I'm gonna be nerdy and I'm gonna ask you guys to give yourselves a round of applause for all you do. So thank you. All right, so I had to do that because I'm just in awe. And I know we have some of the best staff in the world here, so thank you. But back to advocacy, we do meet with campus leadership regularly to talk about retention, to talk about some of the things that we're dealing with as staff right now. One of the big issues I know I've heard a lot about is staff burnout and just being tired because we have so many openings. As Dean Williams talked about, even just in our college, we have 22 openings, which, oh my gosh, 2 years ago we had 6. So it's really scary and it's something that's real. And when we have those openings, the folks that are here that are working hard, they often take on more and more and more, and they do it. And it's hard because it does take a toll. So that's something that we definitely have our voice in front of campus leadership to let them know and remind them, hey, we need to keep working. We need to keep getting these staffing numbers up. We need to keep getting these positions filled as much as we can. And how can we work together to make that happen? So we meet regularly with the chancellor, the provost, the ABCs, Miriam Blam, and now we will be meeting regularly with our new crow, Alex Nahata, our ABC of HR. So we're super excited to have him. I don't know if he's here, but if he is, yay. So in addition to the advocacy and the meeting with our campus leadership, we always want to hear from you. So there's lots of ways for you to connect with us, and I'll show you a slide in just a bit on how to do that and how to keep active with Staff Assembly so you know what we're doing and you can always be a part of it. So in addition to those meetings, we are on several campus committees for very key positions. We often reach out to some of the orgs and colleges to ask for your volunteers to be on these committees. Again, one of the positions that we were very successful in being part of and helping to recruit was the ABC of HR. We have representatives on the graduate dean recruitment, the UCR director of campus safety services, our chief of police. Our campus finance committee is something that we're actively involved in and we meet with regularly. That's with Agam, our president. And we are also involved in the Chancellor's Advisory Committee for Disability Equity and Inclusion to take a broader look on what we need to do to make this an open and just great campus for everyone that's here. Next slide, please. So I want to jump into a little bit lighter of a topic, all of our fun events, because that's the other thing that Staff Assembly does. Because again, we want to thank you guys and give you guys some fun things to do outside of all the hard work that you do. So a couple things that are coming up. We are starting up again with our staff pantry. We have 3 dates that are coming up. October 28th, that will be a produce staff pantry day. We have November 18th and December 9th. So we hope to see all of you there. Please come. It's going to be at the Pentland Roundabout, and we'll have lots of groceries available. And we are really, really excited to have this continue. This is a great program, and we've gotten such good feedback about it. So hope to see you there. Jumping ahead to December, because it's going to be here any second, we have our holiday social that is going to be on December 15th at the barn patio again. We're going to have hot cocos and lots of sugar. So please attend. We look forward to seeing your smiling faces. Sooner than that, you might have noticed on social media that our staff assembly team has been a little bit involved with our costumes. So we post a new costume every week to inspire you. So we would love to see lots and lots of Halloween costume participants in our costume contest. It's open from October 1st through November 1st. All of the rules are on the Staff Assembly website. You can do an individual costume or group, and we have lots of fun prizes and food because we like to do that for you. And also on Halloween, just to get away, step away from your desk for a little bit, please join us in front of Hinderocker. We'll have a trick-or-treat station for all of our staff only, and we will also have pumpkins to pick up and paint and just have some fun with us for a relaxing just moment. So we hope to see a lot of you there. Please come. Pumpkins will be available for the first 100 people that attend. Also, a couple other things we have going on. We have our Director of Professional Development, Tanya Wine, who has coordinated several lunch and learns for us coming up. The next one is on October 26th. We also have November 15th and January 25th. The details on this are on the Staff Assembly website, so we hope you can join us there as well. One thing that is close to my heart is the virtual bingo hosted by our amazing Penny Abino. She does virtual bingo with not just our campus, but all of the campuses around UC. It is such a cool event to just be on Zoom. You can be relaxing in your home in your pajamas on Zoom, and you might win a gift card. So please join us if you have time. The next event is this Friday. We have one at noon and also at 6 p.m. And also coming up, we have our CUCSA delegation. So that is the Council of Staff Assemblies from across the UC. All of the vice presidents and presidents from all the other campuses, staff assemblies will be coming to UCR to see how awesome we are. They're going to be doing a campus visit. They'll be visiting our UCR Arts. They'll also be doing a citrus visit and hearing from, or citrus tour rather, and hearing from our campus leadership. So we're very excited about that. So you may see some new faces. That'll be November 30th, 1st, and 2nd of December. And I already talked about Halloween, so we can move on to the next one. And just wanted to let you guys know, our Get Recognized, it's our staff recognition program through Staff Assembly. Our Director of Recognition, Bree Morales, has put this information together for us. Our nominations are due for Get Recognized on October 31st, and the winners will be announced November 10th via email. We are going to do an in-person ceremony to celebrate our winners this quarter. We'll be doing that quarterly. All of the information is going to be on the slide, which you'll be able to access. So the quarterly in-person ceremonies will be in INTS 1109 from 12 to 1. That's going to be our first one. We'll have 2 winners from each month, so a total of 6 winners that we'll be honoring in person, and we will also be providing lunch because food is good, especially when we're taking your lunch hour. So please nominate those that are special in your department that you really just want to say thank you and give them on the back. I just encourage you guys, recognize your peers, recognize each other because you just do such amazing work, so thank you. And next slide. If you want to stay connected with Staff Assembly, these are all the ways you can do it. And I know our Director of Marketing, Melanie, who's up there in the awesome clouds, is putting all of our links in there in the chat. But really, all you have to do is go to staffassembly.ucr.edu, and you will see all of our links to Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever else is out there that I don't know. So please stay connected with us. We'd love to see you guys show up at our events. We love to see you comment on our Instagram, on our Facebook. It's just great. So please connect. And with that, I will call Agam back up and we will talk about our milestones.
Thank you, Erica. And I want to thank Dean Williams for his thoughts and perspectives over the last 13 months to come out and share a little bit of your time here. So this is the favorite part of the ceremony for me. And as I look at the room, I see a lot of staff assembly presidents, and I want to give them a nod of acknowledgement to Ross, Aaron, Jeff, and if I've missed anybody else, thank you for coming out and supporting us. This is the best part of being with staff assembly, is to get to come out and celebrate all of you. So we're moving into the milestone recipients, and just a quick housekeeping reminder here. As we call out your names, please look for Julie Salgado. She's right here, our Director of Events. And look for her, please follow her. All the 5-year recipients, you can get up and follow Julie. You'll come here, you'll come up on the stage, take a photo with Dean Williams, and then you will wait across the stage on that side and take a photo with Scotty. Please stay back on the stage because we're gonna take a group photo as well. All right, we got it? Everyone's got it? Great. All right, let's begin. 5 years, here we go. If you hear your name, please walk up. Sonia Andrea Ria Mirosa. Gabriel Angulo. Robert Aquila. Matthew Barajas. Ayoka Bell. Michael Bonetti. Stephen Brookshire. Geraldo Canaz. Marianne Carrillas. Martha Castaneda. Courtney Crooms. Patrick Falconer. Brenda Fiscal. Sabine Freij. Danielle Garcia. Christina Gonzalez. Amy Gu. Edgar Gutierrez. Shannon Henderson. Braham Hernandez. Victoria Hernandez. Sandra Hernandez. Andrew Herrera. Vina Kavdia. Jonathan Keplinger. Michelle Kerr. Olivia Lara. Paulina Bianca Laroya. Patrick Latimer. Brendan Lay. Ulysses Lopez. Daniel Lopez Salas. Yvonne Lujan. Jeffrey Matute. Ricky Mong. Staquisha McBride. Trapper McLean. Ryan Nagby. Laszlo Nemeth. Jay Nguyen. Deborah Page. Demetrius Patrick. Giovanni Perez. Nicole Perkins. Nicole Pitsavas. Julie Porter. Donna Powell. Nina Quash. Veronica Ramirez. Richard Rodriguez. Alexandra Rollins. Marcelina Riel. Evelyn Samoya. Angelica Sandoval. Aaron Schuster. Kelsey Sabag Shook. Rose Silvas. Tammy Thacker. Christopher Tracy. Okechukwu Chendu. Edwin Valderrama. Mario Alberto Valencia Ruiz, excuse me. Patrick Wagman. Timothy Wolf. Ian Wright. Matthew Zhu. Give it up for the 5-year recipients, everybody. If everybody can wait there for a group photo. Mangli, yeah, we've got one more. All right, congratulations to all of our 5-year recipients. If I could have all of our 10-year recipients that are here, if you could come on up and meet Julie right over to the side so we can honor you as you walk up. So any of our 10 years, please come on over. All right, and we will get started with our 10 years. Our first one is Thomas Barnett. Danny Brown.
Christina Chenard. Rock Cristiano. Nesha Crossman. Catherine Davis. Ana Diaz Negrete. Robert Dixon. Yay, Robert. Jose Espelita, excuse me. Ian Foster. Jennifer Gee. James Gleason. Lauren Green. Krista Guerrero. Daniel Higareda Segura. Evelyn James. Fortino Morales III. David Ontiveros. Johnny Fan. Linda Fee Wynn. Jose Rivera Torres. Susanna Roddy. Timothy Roos. Victoria Van Mauerick. Lakeisha Welsh. And Joseph Watley. All right, congratulations to all of our 10-year. As we take our photo, if we have any of our 15-year recipients, if you could please come up and meet Julie. Thanks so much.
All right, 15-year milestone recipients. Here we go. Fabiola Aguirre. Luis Alvarez. Jose Andrew. William Avila. Gerardo Burnett. Lori Boucher. Jimmy Bowen. Doug Carey. Jeanette DeCutt. Alson Egan. Marina Fernandez. David Gent. Danny Gonzalez. Barry Harvey, Raul Hernandez Murillo, Abigail Joya, Anna Kafey, Sonia Calgones, Julie Kruer, Joseph Lara, Rena Lemus, Zinzia Lee, Laura Lopez, Robert Lundeen, David Lai, Mark Manalang, Brock Meeker, Det Morales, Isaac Owusu Frimpong, Gay Purvis, Sherman Reed, Miriam Rivas, Maria Simani, John Valdez, Sylvia Vasquez, Beatrice Vindelioa, Maria Virgin, Alexander Vu, Takeda Welchin, Peter Wong, give it up for 15-year milestone recipients.
Congratulations to all our 15 years. If we have any 20-year recipients, if you could please come up and meet Julie at the door so we can recognize you. That was 15. Oh, we were just kidding. It had the, oh, we're fine. All right. Christine Bender. Janine Brown. William Kaganap. Christopher Duell. Kelly Eldridge Inosawa. Jesus Estrada. Melissa Gomez. Guadalupe Gomez. Shelley Gupta. Janice Henry. Scott Jackson. Kenya McAllister. Blanca Ochoa. Wade Stern. David Thompson. Kyle Walker. Jason Williams. Let's give it up for our 20-year recipients. Yay, let's give it up for our 20 years. And I do want to recognize one of our 15-year recipients who was unable to be here before. Abigail Lara, please come up and get your photo. Of course.
All right, 25 years. Here we go. Gabriel Brewer. Lynette Dickerson. Congratulations. Scott Edwards. Kathy Eiler. Laura Riley. Christine Strait. "25 years of service, everybody.
I'm so jealous of those 25 years. All right, congratulations to our 25 years. Let's hit up our 30-year award winners. So if you are 30-year anniversary, please come up and meet Julie, and we will recognize you. Jorge Ocona. Richard Beto. Deborah Houston. Michael Todd. Congratulations to our 30-year recipients.
All right, 35 years. Perla Fabello. Brad Rowe. Myung Tishner. Give it up for 35 years.
All right, and our final recipient for the afternoon, 45 years, Sue Lee. Congratulations to all of our recipients. Thank you all so much for years of service. Total years of service, 1,950. That's amazing. Woo-hoo. All right, congratulations again, and I will have Agam come back to recognize our retirees.
Thank you, Erica. Congratulations to all the milestone recipients. That is a huge number and years of service. Give it up for everybody. Please, let's recognize our retirees. Lenore Davison. Congratulations to all of our retirees. All right, folks, stick around. We have some fun raffle prizes, and for that, I will turn it over to Julie.
All right, so get your raffle ticket out, the little red ticket. Hopefully you didn't lose it anywhere. A gum. I need a gum really quick. Is this a yes or no? All right, so we have some awesome prizes donated by Chaz, and we have one for Schools First. We're going to do a few online, and we're going to do a few here in person. You have to be present to win here, okay, everyone? So let's go ahead. Let's do that one last. We'll do that one last. All right, for an awesome Chaz t-shirt, we have number 565, the last 3 digits, numbers 565. Woo! Come get it, girl. Next, we have a tote bag from Chaz, and this one is 573. 573? Lynette, is that you? Oh. All right, here we go. And we have a Chaz frame. Let's see. Number 547. 547? Anyone? No? Oh, up there, all right. We have a winner up there. They'll come get it later. All right, and now we have Schools First, a little gift basket. Number 577. 577. Anyone? No? All right. Must have been someone who left. Number 513. 513. All right, Erin. And then our grand prize for today is lunch with our Dean, Daryle Williams. You'll be able to ask him anything you want. You and a friend get to have lunch with the Dean. And date to be determined. 541. 541? Anyone? Way back there, Sarah. And that concludes our prizes. We will pick some names online and give out some more prizes. Thank you, everyone. We have wraps outside, chips and wraps. Please grab one, or we probably can grab two. Go ahead and grab two. Anything else to go?
Thank you all for coming. Stay tuned and please follow us on social media, and we'll hope to see you at our next event. Good afternoon.